Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is go over how to remove yourself from a job queue and how to close out a job queue, because they are very different, the two different processes. So I'm going to my job queues, and what I'm going to do is I'm first going to pull up one that the job queue is complete. So a lot of you may have a ton of call tracking items in your job queue. You could have thousands, and you just want to go and clean them up. And you really should. You really should take the time to clean up, because once you have this screen cleaned up, it'll be a lot easier to stay on top of your call tracking items. And I open up this particular one right here because it is done. You can tell by this right here, the original person that created this has closed this job queue out, or this call tracking item out. It is completely done. So when you see closed here, that means you can safely take yourself off this job queue, which will remove it from your job queue screen. Even though that call tracking item is still, even though that call tracking item is closed, it's still being displayed on my job queue screen. And that's because I'm still on the forward list. So if I click on forward list, I can see myself is still there. Even though it's closed, I can still have access to it from the job queue screen. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You go to forward list, you're going to go up to options, and you're going to hit remove yourself, because once again, you may not have this button here. Or you can right click and hit delete row, and it will take your name off the forward list as well. Best way to do it is just go to options and remove yourself. Your name's been taken off of there. You hit, before I do that, I want you to see this real quick. That job queue is EGO282. I've removed myself from the forward list. I'm going to exit and hit yes. Now, you see that in my list anymore? It went away. So now I've taken that call tracking item, removed my name from the forward list, and now it is off my job queue screen. It's no longer showing up there. All right, so let's go into this one. So this particular job queue, I'm done with it. But the most important thing that everybody needs to remember when they're going to close out or remove themselves from the job queue is this: the final action right here. You should, when you open up a call tracking item, you should always look over here first. If your name does not appear in the final action, then you do not close the job queue, which is this button right here, or option, edit, where's it at? I'm sorry, I've lost where my spot is here. Where's close tracker? Right there, under file close tracker. I'm so used to using my buttons, I forgot. So unless your name is right there, you do not close the tracker. You only remove yourself from the for list. Now, so this is still open because there's not a closed, the close is not right here in the status fields. So if you don't see close there, then it's still open. And I'm not the final action, but I'm done. I'm finished with this. So this is the process that I recommend people to do. It's always courteous to everybody to notify them and let them know that you are taking yourself off of this job queue because you're done with it. So what I do is I go new append. So I'm going to go edit, new append. I'm going to click on my button right here to list everybody. I'm going to take my name off of it and exit. And I'm just going to say done with, done, I'm just going to say done removing myself from queue. That's what RMFQ means. Removing myself from queue. We use that a lot. And a lot of you all may have seen RMFQ and had no idea what that means. But that's what RMFQ means, is remove myself from queue. So I'm notifying this user that I'm done and I remove myself from queue. So I'm going to exit. So I did that append. It said, Kevin, done, remove myself from queue. So then I go to the for list, and then I go to options, remove yourself, and then exit and save changes. And once again, that call tracking item has been removed from my job queue screen. Now, let's go into another one. Here's another one right here. Now, for this demonstration, I'm going to change this to my name because I know what's going on here. Whoops. I want to put, and I'm actually the one that created this. So I'm the final action here. And I know that this call tracking item is done. Okay? So I'm going to close it. One, because I'm the final action. I know I made myself the final action, but I'm just doing this for this demo. But I'm the final action, and typically the final action is always the person that created the call tracking item. So when you create a new call tracking item, by default, your name goes in these two fields. You could freehand this next action field and type in whoever you want to be the next action. That just kind of is a flag to say who's responsible next for this job queue, but it doesn't have any actual bearings on who can actually, append next or anything like that. It's just for the user's notifications. We don't really use this at all up here, but the final action we do, and that's the field that indicates who closes the job queue. So my name's there. I know this is done. We're going to close this job queue. So if you have the button, you can click on it, but you go File and you choose Close Tracker. Now, you're always going to get this. It doesn't matter if you choose both or external. I just always tell people to choose both. And then you type in a closing message. And please fill this out. This needs to be filled out because this gets appended to the job queue. And there could still be people on the for list. And they need to be able to see that, oh, okay, he's done with this, he closed it out, he's finished, I'm going to take myself off the for list. So what I always type is this call tracking item is done, closing out. Okay, and then exit. You want to save changes, close tracker, yes, and it is now gone. That little beeping sound you heard was from another screen I have up for another user that signed in that was associated with that, and they just got notified that that job queue was closed out. So I've shown you how to remove yourself from a job queue and how to close out a job queue. Just remember, the most important field to look at before you do that is final action. If you're the final action, then it's your responsibility to close the tracker. If you're not the final action, let's see if I can find one real quick, like this one, and you're done with it, it's your responsibility to notify the users that you're taking yourself off and removing yourself from the for list. So I'm just going to demo that one more time because I think it's important. So what I want to do is I'm going to hit New Append, Edit, New Append. I'm going to notify all the users on this call tracking item besides myself. I don't need to be notified. I'm going to say done with this, remove myself from queue. Exit, yes. Now that I've appended to the call tracking item, let all the other users know that I'm off, I'm going to go to the for list, and I can right click on my name and hit delete row, or you can go up to options, remove yourself, and now I'm off of there, exit, and save changes. And that's how you do it. Those are the proper steps on how you're supposed to manage your job queues in response to closing them out and removing yourself once you're done with one if you're not the final action. Once again, I can't reiterate enough how important this right here is. So just remember, if you ever get confused, if you're not the final action, then you simply remove yourself from the for list once you're done with it. If you are the final action, then you're responsible for closing out the tracker. Thank you.